Hello students, I am Sonali Kelkar from City International School, and today we are going to learn about cell. We have discussed few things in our last presentation where we talk about the different scientists and their discoveries. We also discuss about the different shapes of the cell, and we know that these all different shape of the cells is basically based on the function they perform. Now let us discuss more about the cell. Yes, this is the outermost membrane of the animal cell. Can you identify this? It is a cell membrane. It is also known as plasma membrane. In plant cells, this plasma membrane lies next to the cell wall. It is a very thin and flexible membrane. It is a living membrane and it has a fine pores on it. These pores facilitates in the function of transfer of uh, substances from in and out. A very important characteristic of cell membrane is it is a semi-permeable membrane, which is also known as selectively permeable membrane. It means it allows the entry and exit of certain substances in and out of the cell. Now, as you see in this picture, this plasma membrane is made up of lipid bilayer. This is a lipid layer. It is bi because you can see the upper and the lower layer, lipid bilayer, and it has protein channels embedded on it, which facilitates in the transfer of substances in and out through it. Now, it also protects the cell against the microbes and other substances. It also helps in maintaining the shapes of the cell. One more thing I want to tell you, it get modified to perform different functions. An example, microvilli in intestine of human beings for absorption. Its semi-permeability enables the cell to maintain the homeostasis condition. That means the condition of the cell inside should be favorable condition. It should change according to the environment outside the cell. Here are the transport across the membrane. There are two processes which take place across the membrane. Let us discuss about the diffusion. Now, diffusion is a process where the solid, liquid and gas, these substances move from the higher concentration region to the lower concentration region. You can see this diffusion process is very important for the exchange of gases. So, plasma membrane facilitates the diffusion. It also helps to diffuse carbon dioxide in a cell which has used the oxygen, and carbon dioxide is the waste which is present in the cell. It is diffused out from the cell, that is from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Food molecules also moves inside. In the intestine, where the food molecules are absorbed, small intestine where the food molecules are absorbed by blood vessels, then these nutrients will be is taken by blood to the different parts of the body, to each and every cell, where the food molecules moves inside the cell, okay, from higher concentration to the lower concentration. The concentration food molecule is higher in blood and it is been given to the cell to the process of diffusion. Now let's discuss about the osmosis. Osmosis is also a movement of water molecule from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, but this takes place through a selectively permeable membrane. So osmosis is the movement of water molecules through a selectively permeable membrane from the concentration gradient, that is from the higher concentration of water molecule to the lower concentration of water molecule. Now let's discuss this more. Here I have taken a picture where they have shown a cell which is placed in three different types of solution: hypertonic solution, isotonic solution, and hypotonic solution. Now what do you mean by hypertonic solution? Hypertonic solution is a solution where the solute, let's take the solute here we have taken as salt. So salt molecules are more as compared to the water molecules. So this type of solution where the solute, let's take example salt, molecules are more as compared to the water molecules, right? So concentration of water inside the cell definitely will be more. Okay, so water molecules will start moving from higher concentration to the lower concentration. In this process, the cell cytoplasm gets retained or gets shrink from the cell wall. This is the isotonic solution where there is no movement of water molecules because the concentration of water molecules on either side of the membrane is equilibrium. This is a hypertonic solution where the water molecule outside the cell is more. That means the solute concentration is less. So water molecules move from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. In this condition, the cell of a plant which is protected by a cell wall, it has advantage because the cell wall doesn't allow cell to burst. But if I take a animal cell, if I put it in a hypertonic solution, due to the movement of water molecules from outside to inside, the cell swells up and it can burst. Now let us have a look at the cell wall. Okay, now let's take the characteristic of cell wall. This is the outermost membrane of plant cell. It is rigid, it is turgid, and cell wall is made up of, mostly it is made up of cellulose. So it is a very important characteristic of plant cell which differentiate plant cells from the animal cell. It is a non-living membrane. It is a freely permeable membrane. That means any substance can move in and out through it. It is usually composed of cellulose, but in fungi it is made up of chitin. Now what is the function of cell wall? It gives the rigidity and shape of the plant cell. It also protects the plant cell from being burst. It provides protection. Cell wall permits the cell of the plants, fungi and bacteria to withstand hypertonic condition without bursting. Now let's see the process plasmolysis. When a plant cell loses water after being placed in a solution, that is a hypertonic solution. We have seen in last slide, when you place a plant cell in a hypertonic solution, what happens? Water molecules inside the cell, inside the cytoplasm of the cell is more as compared to the outside environment. So water molecule moves from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Because of this, the cytoplasm gets shrink, or we can say the protoplasm gets shrink. Because what is protoplasm? Protoplasm is a combination of nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. Nucleoplasm and cytoplasm together called as protoplasm. You can see in this picture the protoplasm has shrink a lot. There is a lot of space over here between the protoplasm and the cell wall, and this picture it got shrinked more. So this causes a protoplasm Hypertonic solution causes the protoplasm, all the materials of the side of the cells to shrink away from the cell wall. So this phenomena is known as plasmolysis. Here comes the nucleus. Nucleus is the largest organelle of cell. It is also called the brain of cell because it controls all the basic functions of cell. It controls the metabolism of cell. It takes part in the cell division. It also plays an important role in cellular reproduction. It controls all the metabolic activities. It has a DNA which has genes on it, and genes is nothing but a hereditary unit of a cell. Usually it is genes. Sometimes somewhere they in the books they write DNA also, but genes is a particular chemical, or it is a different type of protein. It is basically a protein, okay, which is found in DNA, which basically responsible for trait of any organism. And nucleus is spherical in shape. It is dense. It has chromatin material, as you can see. Chromatin material are thread-like structure. It is found in nucleolus or nucleoplasm, right? This nucleoplasm is a matrix, the ground material of nucleus, and there can be one nucleolus or two or three nucleoli. Nucleus is a double membrane bounded organelle. It has pore because there are certain substances such as ribosomes and RNA that moves out from the nucleus, right? Now let's see here. These are the prokaryotic organisms. They are unicellular organisms. They lack membrane bound nucleus. You won't find any membrane bound nucleus, neither you will find any membrane bound organelles. Okay, so these organisms have a undefined clear region contain only nucleic acid, is called nucleotide, a very important point. Their sizes are really small. They have a single chromosomes, and usually they are bacteria. Nucleolus, as we have already seen in nucleus, that nucleolus is a subpart of nucleus. This is a very important part of nucleus. It is basically responsible for the production of ribosomes. It produces ribosomes. It participates in the synthesis of forming and storing RNA. It also stores and synthesizes RNA. Ribonucleic acid, it is a full form of RNA. It dictates ribosome to synthesize protein. In fact, we will read more about ribosomes in our further slides. Okay. Here comes the chromatin fibers. As I told you, in nucleoplasm, you will find chromatin fibers. These chromatin fibers numbers increases as the cell advances towards cell division. So during the time of cell division, these chromatin fibers, they get coiled up. Supercoiled. They get supercoiled and they form chromosomes. Chromosomes, I think you must have heard about the chromosomes, right? Number of chromosomes human being has is 46, or you can say 23 pair of chromosomes. So chromosomes are made up of highly coiled chromatin fibers. These chromatin fibers are further made up of nucleosomes. These are 8 histone bonded by DNA. Okay. Now DNA, this is a double strand DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay. And on the DNA you will find specialized protein which are responsible for the trait of any organisms. That is nothing but gene. Okay, so this is all about chromatin fiber. Yeah, here comes cytoplasm. This is a very important structure of cell. It is a part of the cell inside the cell membrane and outside the nucleus. What is it? This is a cell membrane. So whatever is present, a fluid part, a ground material, okay, inside the cell membrane and the nucleus membrane is all cytoplasm, right? If I remove all the organelle from the cytoplasm, and then the fluid or the ground material is called cytosol. So this is a very hairline difference between the cytosol and cytoplasm. Okay, it is a fluid content inside the cell membrane. It contains a mixture of water. It has water, soluble inorganic, organic compounds and various organelles. Now what is the function of cell membrane? What is the function of cytoplasm? Different organelles, as you can see, there are different organelles. So these different organelles are contained. Whatever the functions performed by these organelles, these functions are facilitated by cytoplasm. Okay, so whatever substance made by these organelles, they are transported through this cytoplasm. All metabolic activities occur in cytoplasm. You must have heard about the respiration. Okay, if not, then I'll tell you. Respiration is a process in which glucose, which is C6H12O6, that is broken down into carbon dioxide, water and ATP. ATP is a energy coin. Okay, so this energy is very important. It is very vital for the function of the cell and eventually for the function of a body. Clear? Because our body is made up of cell. Cell is a fundamental unit of body. Okay, so this breaking down of glucose, it takes place, in fact it takes place in 3 steps. We will discuss only 2 steps because even in your next grade there are only 2 steps. So the first step, where the glucose breaks down into pyruvic acid or pyruvate, that is, this step is known as glycolysis. Glyco means glucose, lysis means breaking down. So glucose is breaking down in the cytoplasm, right? The first step takes place in cytoplasm, and then pyruvic acid moves to the mitochondria. These are the mitochondria, right? And further breakdown of pyruvic acid into carbon dioxide, water and ATP takes place in the mitochondria. So it is a very important part or the structure of cell. It also helps in exchange of material between cell organs. There can be exchange of material between cell organs. Let's take protein, which is synthesis by the endoplasmic reticulum, can be taken to Golgi body apparatus through cytoplasm. So cytoplasm facilitates the movement of different exchange of different materials. So this is all about main structures of cell. Now please note down the homework. Question number 1. What is the role of nuclear pore in a cell? How do substances like carbon dioxide and water moves in and out of the cell? We have done this process. Diffusion and osmosis, so you have to define properly with the help of a diagram. Then why is the plasma membrane called a selectively permeable membrane? This we have done before and I've discussed it in detail. How is prokaryotic cell differ from a eukaryotic cell? In this question you have to do a little bit of research. Please write down the question and in your copy, and we can later on check. So practice today's topic and thank you.